We're back continuing a conversation with Kevin Wattier, the general manager of Long Beach Water. And we talked earlier about the investment that the Long Beach Water makes in its facilities. And one of your new facilities is the Leo Vanderland's water treatment facility, which you upgraded. Tell us about that.
Well, that's not actually ours, Art. That belongs to the Water Replenishment District.
Okay.
But we operate it for them, so it's kind of a hybrid facility. That's actually in Long Beach, right up next to El Dorado Park. And what it does is it takes recycled wastewater and treats it, provides additional treatment so that it can be used to replenish what we call the seawater barrier, and we can talk a bit about that. But anyway, that plant's currently under expansion to double the capacity of it, and so we're heavily involved in that because we actually operate it for them.
Excellent. Let's take a look at this facility, this diagram, which explains why you need to build a so-called firewall to keep the ocean salt water out of your aquifers that are non-salt water and drinkable.
Right. Well, if you look back at the history again, back when Long Beach and the whole region really grew after World War II, there was really uncontrolled pumping of the groundwater supplies throughout all of Southern California. And many of the groundwater basins, including ours, started to get drawn down below sea level. And so the potential then existed for ocean water to come in and contaminate it with salt water, which would have made it almost worthless. So back in the 1950s, the county came in and built in southeast Long Beach what's called a seawater barrier, where water is injected into a whole series of wells, which basically builds a mound of water there that's higher than seawater, so it keeps the seawater offshore and keeps our fresh water onshore.
It kind of reminds me of a similar problem when we were pumping oil and the city was sinking because the oil was pumped out and the ground sank.
Of course, now
they put salt water in
to back to prevent further subsidence. Right.
Let's talk about groundwater storage because it's so important. You referenced it in your first segment.
Yeah, well, this is a really big thing. If you look again, talk about storage. Storage is how important it is to managing our water supplies. Most people, when they think about water storage, they think about above ground reservoirs. Big reservoirs like on the river systems and in canyons, like MWD's big reservoir out by Hemet. And those have been great things that we as a state have done. But equally as important is underground storage. It's kind of been ignored.
It's like nature's reservoir.
Yeah, see, again, what happened was, as these groundwater basins were drawn down over historically, when we overpumped them, we created a lot of available space down there that could be used to store water. And our aquifer and a lot of the aquifers have never been used for that purpose because the groundwater aquifer that we overlie is what's called adjudicated by the court, and that court order only provided for how much we can pump out of it, but it never divvied up or allocated or set any rules for use of the storage in that aquifer. And there's a huge amount of storage available down there. There's about half as much storage available down there as MWD's Diamond Valley Lake.
Really?
And it's
and
quite
it's
frankly,
just there. You don't
if you put water in it right now, you can't take it out. It'd be like having a bank account that you could put money in, but you couldn't take it out. Well, nobody's going to do that. And because we've had this lack of any definition of rules for managing that storage.
There are many cities that have access to that aquifer. And
this is the aquifer that runs all the way from Long Beach all the way up to.
So you've spent the last
Montebello.
year and a half or so trying to negotiate a settlement among all these parties.
Well, actually, it's even longer than that. I mentioned earlier this is my 12-year anniversary. When I started 12 years ago, the first round of negotiations were underway and
Sounds
failed.
Like an antitrust suit.
So that failed, and then we all went home and licked our wounds, and we started up again, and we did another round of negotiations in 2008 and 9. We submitted that to the court in 2009. We got all kinds of opposition from some of the other cities and one of the other surrounding water districts. And so over the course of the last year, I and a number of the other cities have now negotiated and submitting to the court as we speak a comprehensive, complete resolution of all the issues.
Which will make
that means we can finally put it to work.
You'll be able to use it.
We can finally put it to work. We can finally put water in and take it back out again. So we're real excited about that.
Yeah. Well, it's not easy when there are these competing interests, and it's obviously inefficient to have an asset that you're not able to use.
Well, again, most of the good surface reservoir sites have already been taken. I mean, the ones that made sense have been built, and to build additional surface storage is very controversial. There's all the issues with endangered species and all that controversy.
Sure.
Whereas the underground reservoirs, it's just the opposite. Everybody loves the idea of underground storage. There's no negative environmental consequences.
Yep.
It's already there. You just got to put it to work. So this is really a great opportunity to put that to work.
It's nature's reservoir.
Right.
There you go. Okay, we'll be back with the rest of our show after we pause for these messages.
I want to improve my career opportunities.
I want to earn a higher salary at my job.
I'd like to finish what I started.
The new Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Arts degree completion program at Cal State Long Beach will help you achieve your educational goals while keeping your life in balance. Contact our customer service center at 1-800-963-2250 for more information, or visit us on the web. Let CSULB help you finish what you started.
Founded in 1976, Polly's Gourmet Coffee is Southern California's most complete gourmet coffee store. Polly's has the best tasting coffee, freshly roasted every day right in the store, plus a wide selection of teas, an in-house bakery, espresso bar, patio dining, and more. We also offer Wi-Fi, free internet access for all of our customers. Our nationwide clientele agree when it comes to coffee, there's only one name to remember: Polly's. 4606 East 2nd Street, welcoming you into Belmont Shore.
Take care of those who are closest to you, from our family to yours. McCarty's Jewelry, since 1932.
Phil Trainees mixes California style with continental cuisine that includes fresh seafood from around the world. Since Phil is the chef, the menu has a wide variety of pastas, salads, soups, and appetizers that feature his unique personal touch. And the Italian-American signature dishes are simply beyond delicious. You never know who you're going to run into at Trainees, from the famous sports legends on the Wall of Fame to local celebrities having a drink at the bar. For the best fine dining experience, visit Phil Trainees.
I think we're fortunate in Long Beach to have a water department as well run and with the national reputation that Long Beach Water has, and congratulations to Kevin and the whole staff for constantly maintaining high quality standards and giving people service and lower rates that benefit all of us. So congratulations.
Thanks, Art.
on the work that you do. You've been in this job now 12 years. Kind of look back on it and give us some of your views of the highlights and challenges.
Well, I think when I think back on the last 12 years, there's really three key things I think about that we've worked on. When I came in, we were already sort of on the cusp of working on seawater desalination. We did a lot of great work on that. But I think, as most of our customers know by now, despite the fact that we made some good innovations and reduced the cost, it's just simply not cost effective. So that was a hard decision to make, but it was the right decision for our ratepayers to not proceed with something that's too expensive.
But it was worth the shot, because if we can turn seawater into drinkable water, that's a gold mine.
Yeah, and we created a lot of good information, and most of our effort was paid for by state and federal funds. But quite frankly, at the end of the day, it's still about twice as expensive as our other sources. So we're not proceeding any further with that. So that was kind of the beginning of my career. Then along came the drought of 2007, 8, 9. I'm so proud of what Long Beach, both the city, our customers, and the water department did in terms of our leadership in California. Our Lawn to Garden program that we talked about earlier it's not just the best state program in the state, it's the best program in the country in terms of doing the right thing by getting off the grass and getting onto California-friendly.
And the residents of Long Beach really stepped up.
Oh, they've stepped up. In fact, later this year we'll celebrate our 1,000th home that we've retrofitted with, and so we're looking forward to celebrating that later this year. 1,000 homes in Long Beach. And the point I like to make is there's 60,000 homes in Long Beach. So while 1,000's a lot, there's a tremendous amount more opportunity for us to do in terms of conservation. And then, again, we just talked about this, but this groundwater storage thing, I know it's dry to your customers. Sorry about the pun, but this is a huge thing. I mean, this is something that we've been arguing about, fighting about, litigating for over a dozen years to put that aquifer to work for not only Long Beach, but all the cities in this region.
And you kind of took the lead in negotiating this?
There's been a sidebar negotiation between me and several of the other cities going on for over a year or so, and we've now worked it all out.
Congratulations, and we look forward to more lawns. More lawns being transmuted into California drought-friendly. Now, I just did a rough calculation. That sounds like about $25 million of money to 1,000 homes, $2,500 a home, if my math is right.
We're doing about 200 to 300 homes a year. This is the other point I'd like to make. So we're doing about 300 homes a year. So 300 times 3,000 is about 900,000.
Yeah. So if you would like to be a good citizen and contribute to the solution rather than the problem and have a pretty lawn, call up the Long Beach Water Department and get the information on transforming your lawn into a drought-friendly environment. Kevin, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Art. It's been a pleasure.
And thank you at home for being our guest. Please be with us next week for the next edition of Straight Talk. Good night, everyone.
Straight Talk has been brought to you by Southern California Edison, the Press Telegram, and remember, Straight Talk is viewable worldwide 24/7 at straighttalktv.com.